All right, so we're going to transition from a few minutes here, and then we're going to have an amazing mastermind session on temple building and those that are here to build modern temple sites. And as you heard earlier today, we can bring the sound down. Thank you so much. The power of integrating with these code 12 frequencies and the power of coming into harmony with these elemental structures of reality is massively impactful. And there's a long-term vision here we're going to be sharing with you all that's going to be really, really extraordinary. It is really extraordinary. And to take you forward in time for a moment, on 12/12 of this year, we're in the process of putting together a global ceremony on both the Q sites and the Stargate sites that Samuel Lee has revealed to me recently. I've learned a little bit about this from that encyclopedia of mystical knowledge back there. And one more time for Sam Lee. I mean, come on, right? So as Sam explained to me recently, part of the reason that humanity is missing the most powerful people in the world, and there's some pretty powerful people here, like we're surrounded by them. But in his perspective, which really resonates with me, is there's literally souls that are so high frequency, they are incapable of coming here right now because the vibration is too low. And part of the reason for that is that the Stargate sites, the sacred grid points, the Earth chakra system, has been manipulated. It's been siphoned off. It's been parasitized. That's probably not really a word, but there's energetic parasites that are draining that sacred life force and manipulating it and preventing these souls from coming here. It's like oil and water, right? They're not vibrationally aligned to come here. So part of what our long-term vision is having a global ceremony on 12/12/25, if y'all are into that kind of party. Anyone want to do that? And literally going around the world to both the Q sites that relate to each Stargate site. Now, y'all aware of that? Does that mean anything to anybody? All right, I had no idea a few months ago. So the Q sites help to activate the Stargate sites. So there's 12 of them, and each one has its corollary. So we're going to be holding the dual intention of activating it with the Q site and cleansing the Stargate site. So super cool. I mean, I don't know what words I have to express how amazing that is. And so that's part of the long-term vision we have, and also building sacred temples at or near these sacred sites around the world to make a massive elevation. And that's part of what we're here to create. And part of what we're here in this next segment is to also really listen. And as you may have seen, a lot of the intention today is masterminding, is to making sure that we're not just here to dictate what the future is. We've had a lot of that in the past. We're here to say, what is your design? What is your sacred truth? What's your human design? What's your gene keys? What's your imprint meant to be in the world? And how do we create alignment between all of us with a coherent, co-elevative, co-regenerative system that can really help us all elevate together? And that's a big part of our intention today. So, yeah, right? Can we get a yeah for that? Like a hallelujah, an amen, an aho, an ashe, a fuck yeah. Woo! All right, Timothy, I think you got something to say to flow with that, man. What do you want to say about all that, or what's on your heart right now?
Ditto.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Can we get a ditto out there?
Ditto.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Zoe? What do you want to say in relation to that?
I'm so excited. I've been waiting my whole life for this, so thank you.
And a round of applause for Zoe Wind, huh? Wasn't she awesome up there? All right. Amazing. Well, let's go ahead and call forward our Temple Builder Council then. So Mike Mamola, Robert Althuis. I'm zoning out on how excited I am right now. Who else is on the panel with us?
We've got
a lot to process right now, guys.
Mike, we've got Robert, we've got Amanda.
There we go. Amanda Schendel.
We've got anybody from Moonflower
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Joining us. We've got Alex Love.
Yeah.
And you, Jackson.
Yeah. Yes. So I don't know if the seating thing is going to work. Can we actually get some more chairs up here? Would you mind bringing those up? Yeah.
Yeah, let's sit on the ledge, actually.
Yeah.
I like the ledge. I was kind of feeling that.
Yeah, that's great.
That's easy.
Okay, yeah, that works. That works.
Yeah,
that's
good.
That feels good.
Yeah.
We're all here to talk. The intention is equanimity, for sure. Yeah. This didn't feel quite right to be on the pillows. It's hard to kind of see in the back that way, but this is perfect.
Yeah,
All right. So we've got a big panel here of really big souls and people that I've gotten to know in the recent past and people I've been blessed to know for a few years now. And I'm really, really excited, super honored to be here and inviting all of us to really feel into like the most profound truths and the deepest wisdom you want to share, the deepest gifts you want to receive, and what your visions for the future really are and how you're bringing them to life. And also then we're going to invite in the audience to share some of that of how it might relate to what we're sharing here, because it's big stuff. We're here for big fucking change, right? And inviting all of us into our full bigness, shamelessly, powerfully, knowing how sacred we are, staying in the power of that sacred circle and knowing that the divine source spirit of the universe has blessed us all with something massive to do and say and share and feel here. That's the freaking intention. Yeah? Can we get an aho for that? Fuck yeah. All right. Yes, 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 yes. So on the end here, we got Mike Mamola, a fantastic person. A round of applause for Mike. A fantastic person amongst fantastic people. Mike is a psychedelic lawyer, putting together churches and structures and safety, breakthrough levels of safety for the sacred plant medicine spiritual workers of our day today. So there's no more burning at the stake. There's no more torture. There's no more people getting taken out for their spiritual beliefs like in the past. We're breaking through, and Mike helps create the structure and the power and, again, the safety to do that. Massively beautiful, important stuff. Can we get a few more mics up here, please? I think we need like all the mics and more that we have here. So with that, Mike, and also a really quick other thing that please comment on is the Texas Ibogaine initiative. So anyone here know about the TII right now? Okay, so Texas is about to be the first state in the country that brings legal Ibogaine treatment to the world. And Mike is a huge part of that. And really quick story, and then I'm going to pass the mic. I went to a fundraiser recently where former Governor Rick Perry is on stage talking about plant medicine, okay? Like we jumped the timeline. Okay, so we jumped the timeline, guys. Like we're on it, okay? We won. We're on the good AI timeline. The Terminator timeline is irrelevant, okay? And Rick Perry is advocating for plant medicine. What the fuck? So, Mike, please tell us about what you're bringing to life, what you're most passionate about, what you're most excited and optimistic about right now.
Yeah, thank you, Jackson. First of all, this is incredible. And can we give him a big round of applause? He's been getting us to cool. So as Jackson said, I'm involved in a number of different things, all focused on one thing, which is helping to move humanity in the right direction with whatever particular skill set I have. And that happens to be the practice of law for the last 20 or so years. And I was a founding partner of a law firm and built that into something relatively successful, was introduced to the world of spirituality about a decade ago, and then plant medicine, and saw an entirely different way of living and helping others understand how to live. And so that's what I'm focused on. I, as Jackson said, have become very familiar with the way the laws are structured in the United States and help people understand that. A lot of people are interested in entheogenic churches. Anyone set up a church or familiar with churches or interested in them? That's something that we work with often to help people do what they want to do in the ways that the United States allows us to under the First Amendment with as much protection as possible. And that's been very rewarding. So when we talk about what's important, that's what's important. How do we let people, as you would say, fit into their zone of genius and do what they're most passionate about, what their soul's purpose is on this planet as it relates to helping each other with whether it's plant medicine or something else, so that they don't have to worry, so that they can do it with a calmness and an ability to sleep at night as much as possible. So that's what we're working on that side of things. We also, because of some of the relationships that we've established over the years, are on the other side, on the administrative and governmental side, as Jackson said, and I'll wrap this up soon, quietly meeting with politicians and decision makers around the country, because guess what, guys? What you all believe, what you all live and love and are passionate about, it's echoing. It's echoing throughout the country. And you should give yourselves a round of applause, because for the first time in history, we're changing the way society thinks about healing and living, and we're doing it. And I can tell you firsthand that some of the people, the prosecutors, the judges, the politicians, they suffer, or they love someone who suffers. And they know that there's change that's available and it's coming, and they're curious. And so we're having those kinds of meetings behind closed doors and with the doors open. So like Jackson said, there's something called the Texas Ibogaine Initiative that we're a part of. Very exciting. Former Governor Rick Perry is a part of that. Brian Hubbard, you may have seen that episode on Joe Rogan, and we're ushering in an opportunity. Scarlett, I think she's here as a part of that over there. And we are ushering in an opportunity for Ibogaine to be used in the state of Texas, clinical research for PTSD and veterans for the first time ever. This is exciting. I mean, what we're talking about, think about this, all of this, the reason we have to have these conversations, the reason we have to do the things that we do, we are there fighting the good fight for all of us, is because back in 19 somebody, someone with a stroke of a pen decided that all of these fall into Schedule 1 drugs, that no, whatever it might be, no healing mechanism that's natural is able to be used without the threat of persecution, prosecution. We're changing that. And it's because of all of the efforts of people like you giving us a passion, giving us the power, and giving us the opportunity to do that. So thank you for what we're able to do.
All right. Round of applause for Mike Mamola. Inviting you to send that man some love, send him some extra strength because you're doing such great stuff in the world. Gonna come on down the line here to the men from Moonflower here. A round of applause for these epic brothers building this amazing place with so much love and intentionality. And Jesse over here, man, they have been powerhouses behind the scenes and in front of the scenes making this happen. So please, gentlemen, tell us more about your vision for the future. And yeah, Bill, so tell us more about what is it that drives you and what else are you here to create?
Hello. Okay, perfect. So I first got here to this place was bought nine years ago in ceremony under that tent or one like it. I think the Snowmageddon took out the one before. And Rick was there, and we had called together a circle in a sacred church, and we gathered, and it was an amazing weekend, amazing experience. And Rick and I both saw this place, in that stripped down state, and saw the beauty and the magic, and felt the duende, felt the spirit and the soul of this place. And I think Rick went to work that day, set his intention, and from there, we've just been holding that vision, holding that intention that in this place, for this time, for our tribe, to have a place to gather and have those moments, those indelible moments that can't be taken away, that last forever. So I'm the local temple builder.
Yes. Let's go.
I can say more, but I won't.
There is an underlying sacredness to how you've constructed this place. Would you speak a bit to that?
I will, and those designers out there will know there's a lot of principles at work, and we spend a lifetime sort of polishing our tools and toolkit in design and creating those things. But there's a beauty and a balance, and the principle of I guess my guiding design principle is honesty and integrity. Make it strong, make it simple, make it beautiful. And one of the very first places that moved me and was right over there at that fire pit. And I knew 9 years ago that in this place, in the center, at the high spot of this ground, that I needed to do something really special. And that particular structure, there's again, I'm not going to talk about the geometry, going to get in the weeds about it, but there is a lot of intention. And
just give us one weed, because there's
so the Moonflower, which is what we're called. If you know that plant, it's a 5-sided petal, and it spins out like a galaxy, and that sacred spiral, is the principle of that portal. That's the 4-sided spiral. It needed to be rectilinear, obviously, for that shape. But that's kind of what we base, this on, all the linear axes, all the lines of sight. They radiate out, in a sacred spiral. And so from that place, that sacred fire burns, and many so far have gathered and spent shared moments. And that's my purpose as a temple builder, to bring people together to share moments that can't be taken away.
And the rumor I've heard is it's been 600 ceremonies on this land. Is that accurate?
I think most of those before us, and they were weddings. This was a wedding venue before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I misinterpreted that with my optimism. There's been 600 Bufo ceremonies here, but I was wondering why it feels so expansive. And I was like, that makes sense.
Other questions?
Yeah, just a little bit more on your vision and what else you're excited to bring to life.
Seeing this here is pretty profound. It's been something that Bill and Jesse and I've always talked about having this. We stood right here. I said, I want a stage, and Bill says, come here. We come right to this spot, and he says, see how the land goes up like an amphitheater, and so goes up like an amphitheater right here. And it was just kind of, this is it. And this is the most people that has been around this stage. The stage has been used the most since it's been here. So every area is getting footprints on it, and the footprint is important to me. Everybody's love and connections and the community of everything. So it's what we built it for. So I'm open to questions, or it's just kind of, it's hard to just purge and dump a lot of stuff out. So
All good, all good. Yeah, I just want to give everyone like a brief moment to really let us all see into each other's worlds and really hold each other in our highest light. And as you hear people speak, I'm inviting you to really see these things in reality. And as we remember more of how irrelevant time really is, and that the dreams are already done, and if we hold the vision of the dreams already being done, that manifestation can happen so much faster and more fluidly. So
right now we're about 50% finished with the place.
yeah, tell us 100%. What does it look like in its fullness and as you currently see it?
Yeah, let me share a little more about that. So absolutely. So let's talk about, so this is the finish line for phase one. Phase one was to get sort of the anchor, get the soul of the place, get the center, the heart, the parts that we inherited that we're keeping. The house has been a labor of love and blood, sweat, and tears for the last couple years.
And beauty, like can we clap for the house? I think the house wants a little love right now. Beautiful.
So I do want to talk about that house for a moment and give you guys a little bit of history. So the original, those bricks, those weird concrete rough bricks were handmade by the original builders of this place. They came back from the war, two brothers, and they hand cast those bricks. And where they stand on the property, that's the original house, the exact same placement and shape. And when we got here, there was a lot of, over the course of 80 years, a lot of layers get added on to buildings. And it was an old building, and it was small, and it was layered up. And when we stripped it down, those bricks were there, and the entire foundation and all the walls, there wasn't a crack in it. And it was on a rock solid foundation. And I just knew that these original, that each one of those pieces of the building material had someone's effort in it, and that they were part of the land, and that we had to keep that. And so we sandblasted all the 17 layers of paint off, and we brick by brick, we took it down. And right where it stands now, we put a foundation under it, and we built it back up. And that is the bones. The foundation of this place is the original house built in the 40s. Yeah. And
a quick round of applause for the original brothers that made this place at the beginning.
Yeah, and so again, this is the finish line of phase one. Phase two is the lodging and reception hall piece. The reception hall is going to go here. It's going to be built up right in here so that we look out over this amazing panorama of beauty, that stunning sunset and the lake, the water, the fire, up here in the wind, this earth, all those elements. Yeah. So phase 2 is the hall, lodging cabins on the side of the hill. Most of them won't be seen, but they're pretty amazing. And then phase 3 would be a common area that we open up the B side, camping, you know, a little more rustic, a little more rough next to this great luxury. So yeah, that's phase 2 and 3. And yeah, we're in our final stretch of funding for that. We have any generous no. We do, yeah, we do. We have an investor deck and all that, but we're close to that being realized, and that feels really good because there's been a lot of effort, and yeah, it's been a lot of effort. I'd like to take this moment. Someone mentioned inviting everyone to their genius. My partners in this endeavor, Ricky and Jesse, it's been just the pleasure of a lifetime to work with these two men and their genius. You know, Rick kind of started things off being the glue, being the connective tissue that brought the team together. You know, his vision, giving us permission to bring our vision and our genius. It's been very moving. And about a year ago, or early this year, I can't even, it seems like forever. Jesse, again through Rick's genius of connecting people, brought Jesse, and it was the genius and integrity and his lifetime of training that showed up and was just exactly what we needed at the time we needed it. And if it wasn't for him, you know, we wouldn't be here. And we have been following Jesse's lead for the last many months. I can't even think of the timeline, but
Jesse,
yeah,
been a rock, been brilliant, detail-oriented, fast-moving, enthusiastic. You've been awesome, Jesse. Sent 50 out of 10. Thank you, man.
yeah, and this is a good time to transition. And I love talking about this place, so anybody can get me individually, and we can get in the weeds. But yeah, I'd like to hand the microphone to Jesse while he's nice and teary.
Yeah. So let me give you a couple words first, brother, if I may. So building this place has had obviously a lot of effort and a lot of tough moments, I'm sure, and coming to the line and getting miracles at the last minute and all kinds of things I don't know anything about, but I feel that, yeah. Same thing with this event. And some of you may not know that we had another venue we were supposed to be at, and thank you, goddess, that fell apart. At a late stage, it was very difficult. It was super stressful. And I really felt like it was all going to fail. And it was very tough. It was very, very tough. And really needed somebody that I had a Jesse-sized hole in my life to help bring this together. And you showed up with so much enthusiasm, and there's tough moments of like, nah, bro, we fucking got this, man. It's going to be great. It's going to be, I can see it, man. Don't worry. Like, all right, fuck, here we go. So thank you for being there in those moments where the fear showed up, and please share more about your vision and your desires here.
Thank you, brother. And it happened this way that I didn't go first. Thank you for that in all its ways. Yeah, thank you for all the love, recognition. This, like my first, before I say anything, is just a pause in massive gratitude for all of you. Like y'all are making this, my brother, please, round of applause, please, like love on. And my beacon brother to bring it through. Like, thank you. But this is a dream come true. And I've been so inspired by so much information, so many leaders, coaches, mentors. I've seen people move in and throughout this place, and then each one of you, right to my heart. The story that I wanted to at least sprinkle in here is a little about a year and a half ago, I was homeless and serving God in the highest way. And I had thrown away this whole like corporate world, you know, like, oh, I'm done with that. I'm going to go monk style, medicine style, buy beans with what I can get. And it was through me really wanting my dream and saying, this is what I want. I want community. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there like, I want my retreat center. I want my community. I want my medicine. I know these tricks. I know this thing. And a couple of my friends, and let's move towards the light in that direction. And I'd only get so far. And I did it over and over. Maybe I'll rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And it got me to the point of like, how much more are you going to let go? And my dear brother Preston that was here yesterday, I went through bridge in this moment. Love him, love of my life. Oh, love of my life over there, pulling me through.
Yeah.
And and all of that brought me to a place in full surrender through a brother bringing me up here, being like, I don't know what I got. Can you fix a golf cart? I'm like, sure, man. I can do anything. So I'm over there fixing golf carts, and I'm almost done. And I made it a point not to tell anybody who I was, my past, all this stuff I've been demonizing. And I'm done with golf carts. And one day it was, could you come into this meeting? And it opens up to, hey, we don't know how to use a spreadsheet. Can you? And I'm like, well, I did sell a software company that I started a little like, let me try. And it was like, oh, you do that. Oh, can you manage business? Oh, can you do marketing, sales? Can you help do GC of the construction? And it flourished. And we brought in a company, and I'm fractional ICO of Kids EQ, emotional intelligence, a company in UK. And it just, within the last 12 months. And none of that was my idea or my dream. And it was through, and this is my dream. Like this is it. This is it. And so my words of wisdom or a lesson or a humble phrase is like, look at the people around you. It may not be bringing your fire forward first. That there's all these little ones, and all of a sudden I get to be here doing this. Like, are you kidding me? So thank you deeply from my heart. And I love you all. Thank you.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Yeah, a little louder for Jesse, y'all. One more time. A powerhouse, so committed, such energy, man. Like a devotion. Timothy Archer. Really enjoy getting to know this guy. You got to see some of his genius. How great was Tim up there today? Wasn't that awesome? You've seen like a baby drop of what this guy has in store. So the question that comes forward for me is when you synthesize that conversation and you try to structure it in your like magnificently intelligent way, like how can you synthesize and give us like your reflection on what happened up here just now?
I mean, an expression of truth, of purpose, and something that I think brings us all here, which is, you know, creating a better world for humanity, and then what it takes to do that, which is connection. And to really have connection, you have to have space and place. You know, that's why there's temples and centers and sacred sites and all these different convergences of energy. It's about bringing people together around intentions and being in a state of relationship to all things, and making a space as beautiful and incredible as this that could have the capacity to hold this container of what we're here doing together. You can feel how sacred, how meaningful that is, how that gives true purpose and the opportunity to be in a state of gratitude for the places that we get to live in, the places that we get to share, and the people in them. So I think that's what this is about in many ways, is like, you know, there's leadership, there's consciousness, there's all of these, you know, destinations we're going to, but the reality is it's about weaving together and making the opportunities for that to happen. And for behavior to change, this is something that's true, and You see it in scientific analysis of human behavior, and you see it in just the reality of empirical observation, which is that the environment has a lot of influence over human behavior. So if we make better environments, and we can take that to the fullest extension of human optimization technology and frequency tech and all that stuff, or we could take it to the fullest optimization of like prayer and consciousness and doing the sacred work. We can take it to the fullest extension of healing, but it's all of those things, and it's the little things. It's the culture, which Zoe is going to talk about. It's heart, and it's also just what's the food that we're eating. Every single element, all put together. And one of the things that in my past lives, I lived and worked on a ranch project in Grass Valley, California, a square mile of ranch land, with the intention of turning into a regenerative village and farm. And I was brought on as systems designer to look at like what do we need to do to make this place really work? What do we need to do to make it regenerative and resilient? And man, the legal system gets in the way a lot of times of building spaces like this, and that's what's really hard about it. Is we need capital, we need people, we need attention, all of these different aspects of business. Like it takes someone like Jesse, it takes someone like me, it takes someone like all of us with our different skills, like entrepreneurs, people who have built companies, to do something as simple as a space. But it's not simple, it's everything. So creating those spaces, and then the movement, how do we weave these together? That's our conversation today. It's like, it's a life of work to make this one space, but we need to make millions of spaces like this. This is the heart of the new earth.
Let's go, Timothy Archer, man. Feeling called to go down to Amanda Schendel down there. And y'all haven't met Amanda yet. Some of you already know this wonderful, hysterical, super healer of running multiple plant medicine retreats for many years now. 1,300 people, is that approximately?
I calculated it this morning because I wanted to know. 1,682.
Look at that. People that have been through her plant medicine retreat spaces. Those are lives that are massively better because of your presence in them. And I hope that you get to celebrate that every day. And I know that expanding to the next level is tough. And I've really enjoyed our beautiful conversations and the vulnerability and the courage and the challenge that you express and feel, and your capacity to feel that depth and still show up for the people you show up for is fucking amazing. Thank you, Amanda. One more time, round of applause for Amanda Schendel, please. And just inviting you to see the ripples in the world you've created by your fucking magic and hilariousness. So really connect with Amanda, and please, tell us more about the future for you.
Hype man. Is Jackson a hype man for anyone else?
I'm a truth
He's
man,
in
baby.
my corner. I'm James Brown. He's putting on I can't go on. And he's like, yes, you can,
Yes, you
Amanda.
can.
And I was like, Jackson, I don't even know if I can show up to this thing. And he's like, I'm with you, bitch. I'm in terror too. And I was like, okay. Before I begin, if you want to stand, you can stand. I just love shaking, and we've been taking in so much beauty. And so I'm just gonna like shake it, integrate it, put it in your heart, maybe do your mouth. That's my favorite. Titties, if you got titties. Everybody got titties, some small, some big, don't matter. Your ass. Oh, yeah. I didn't know I was going to start this with tits and ass, but you never know where the day's going to go. Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you. Oh,
and by the way, if your shaman or your plant medicine retreat leader does not have a crazy goofball sense of humor, you're in the wrong place, all right? Cosmic badasses and total goofballs, like those are the ones. And
yes.
Yeah.
Osho was kind of crazy, but he said a lot of smart shit. And he said, if you can't laugh, you can't be in my space. And I'm like, that's how I feel. If you aren't laughing right now, you're going to be crying a lot because of the low word, which that is wonderful too. And my heart is racing out of my chest, not out of nerves, because I adore having a microphone in front of my face, to be perfectly honest. But I would love to tell you really quickly how I got where I am, what my vision is, and most importantly, Jackson said, he's like, you can come cry on the stage. I was like, yeah, sure, because I probably will. What my ask, my like very sacred ask is right now of this group and of this world. So we'll do a quick one. I spent About 10 years ago, I was at the lowest point of my life. I was called to ayahuasca in the mountains of Ecuador. Looking back, that was the 360 moment, the 180 moment. Spun me around. I ended up there for 3 years, became the general manager of that retreat center, was learning from the medicine people. First, I was folding 30-pound blankets and emptying puke buckets for years on end, and then eventually I was asked to tend to the sacred fire, and then eventually I was asked to, some of my last moments there, to sing a song in ceremony. And on my very last journey with ayahuasca on that land, she came to me like she does to many of us in her straightforward, stern grandma self, and she said, "You're going to move to Mexico and you're going to give people mushrooms." I was like, huh? I have never lived in Mexico. I haven't worked with mushrooms since I was 22 years old. I was 35 at the time. And in my gene keys, or I'm sorry, in my human design, which I didn't know then, I have innocence as the way that I create. And that means, ooh, that'd be fun. Where do I like in Mexico? Ooh, Tulum sounds fun. Let's go there. Ooh, let's look for a place. Found it the next day. I started this work with $500. I am not joking you. Zero savings, zero 401k, zero backing, $500 because I had been volunteering for 3 years running this entire center. And from that, I thought I was going to do one little retreat, and I don't know who's going to get there, and I had a free website, and I was like, I don't know who's going to come and watch a video of some crazy blonde girl saying, come take mushrooms in the middle of the jungle in Tulum with me. And 20 people came to that first retreat. 20 strangers, and every single one of them, when I looked in the eyes, I said, how did you get here? And they're like, I don't know. I like clicked on a thing and a thing and a thing, and then I saw your face, and I was like, she seems pretty trustworthy, and I was like, all right, here we go. It's almost 7 years later. And 3 years ago, I was called home. I was living in Mexico and Ecuador for 8 years. And I was called to California on a magical synchronistic trip where all of a sudden I ended up in Joshua Tree. And I said, I haven't been in Joshua Tree since about a decade ago, when it was the first time I took LSD out on the land. And after 10 hours of being with the magic of Joshua Tree, it came to me in a vision. Pistol Annie. Do you guys remember Pistol Annie? She was a sharpshooter. She was a magical, independent sharpshooter, circus woman. And the medicine said to me, Amanda, you were riding into the west, to the wild, wild west on your horse, and you got your guns, and they only shoot love. And I was like, but where am I riding? And they said, you're riding to the final frontier. And that final frontier is consciousness. And you are here to be an explorer, and you are here to gather your women around you on their horses and ride into this frontier. And I said, oh, this is a fun little acid trip. Little did I know, here we are, 10 years later with women around me, serving medicine, singing, holding, loving, caring, being in the way of the divine feminine, holding people in their tears and their vulnerability and not needing to change them or make them different. The medicine that we hold, yes, we work with mushrooms, but what people come for, which they receive from the moment they step into our space, is just like, come here. It's okay. Come here. Come here. It's the medicine of the mother. It's the medicine of the women. And thank you, not only to each and every one of you here, but to my mother, my grandmothers, and my great-grandmothers who never had the chance to do this. Who never had the chance to live on her own, unmarried, buying land, doing medicine, illegally, might I add. Don't put that out of here. Many years in Mexico, you know what I did? I just put on the website, oh, it's legal. And people are like, okay.
That's the most you thing I've ever heard, Amanda. I'm a little nervous about it, but I love it.
Cool, because
and you have a church now, by the way.
I have a church now. Actually, this is the first time I'm meeting Mike in person. And yes, we have a lawyer. We have
Mike's
a church.
very happy. I approve this message. This is good. We have churches. As your attorney.
But you know, it's because of the vision and because of what you're feeling here, which is like, we may have to break a few fucking stupid ass rules to make this work.
Whew.
You know what I mean? And I have been protected. I have been protected by the Mexican elders that I know. I've been protected by the Mexican people I work with. We have been working with, you can Google me, it's all about mushrooms. I said from the moment I started this, I'm not hiding. I'm not going to be in secret. I'm not going to say, oh, sacred soul medicine. No, fucking psilocybin, earth medicine. That's what I work with. And I have crazy angels around me. So if there is something you're coming against where you're like, I don't know, I'm a little bit afraid and I'm not sure if I can step into this, of course, don't go outside where you know your ability is to really hold it. But at that time, I was like, I'm gonna do this. And you know what? If I end up in jail for being someone who is trying to help people fucking not kill themselves, which is many people who come and work with me, this is my last hope. This is the last thing I'm trying. If I have to end up giving my life to that, so be it.
Come on, y'all. Clap for that, man. Jesus, Amanda.
And I'll wrap this up. So a few years ago, I was called back to California. I found this insane land that had a donkey corral that was made up like the old west, and it has a saloon, and it had fake people in it drinking whiskey, and it had, I mean, it's absolutely wild, and it's this big A-frame house. And since I was,
it's ridiculous. It's awesome. There's
on
alpacas.
land. We got alpacas now. We've built it from
So
5
good.
bedrooms to 8 bedrooms. Just 2 nights ago, the women who are there right now held the very first ceremony in this massive 30-foot yurt that put me into debt for the first time in 7 years. And this is my ask. I have bootstrapped this from the very beginning through literally just doing what we do as a church now, which is every piece of money that came in went back. I saved up 250 grand, that went to the deposit for the house. I saved up another 50 grand, that went into the yurt. Everything goes back into these places. And I'm finally at a point after hearing this, and my heart just, I almost didn't show up today because I've been in a place for the past few weeks where my body just finally said, like, too much. You're doing too much. And so I'm at a place and I want to meet so many of you. I'm calling in a new CEO. I'm calling in a place where I can step back. I can actually just be a medicine woman in ceremony and not doing hashtags on fucking SEO on the website and everything else we all do because we have a dream. I'm calling in someone to support me. I'm calling in the masculine, whether that be a woman or a man, to find structure because we have an amazing group of people doing this work and we need to grow. We need to grow. So anything you guys can offer in that way, I have so much love and so much humor and so much joy to give in return. And a huge vision for this to connect with each and every one of these spaces and these people to support one another. Because if there's one piece, last thing I can say, a piece of advice that my elders and my mentors and everyone in my life has told me, and I go, oh yeah, sure. If you're in healing at all, if you're healing others, if you're in the healing space at all, you better fucking take care of yourself. You better take care of yourself times, like 50 times more than you are right now. Because 3 times in the last year, my body's just like, stop it. What are you doing? More time alone, more time in water, more time with other healers, Amanda. Stop giving. It's out of balance. And Salvador, my beautiful, beautiful medicine man that taught me so much, he said, you know, Amanda, when you turn on a bright light in a dark space, a lot of creatures come toward that light, some moths, some butterflies, and some really scary creatures. So when you're a fucking light in this world, a lot is drawn to you, and not all of it is goodness. So be aware of who you surround yourself with. Take care of yourself as much as you can. I have been doing that as much as I possibly can. Jackson has helped. Drea has helped. Everyone, so many people here have just been there to hold me as I'm in a place of finally admitting after 7 years, like, all right, I've done all I can and now I need help. Thank you guys.
Is Masha Nova out there? I don't know where Masha is, but Masha, Amanda, setting intention for y'all to connect here, and please have a chat together, and I'll connect those dots if you can't hear my voice, Masha. Feeling called Mr. Robert Althuis next here, and this man here spoke at our last event in Miami, and has a fascinating, powerful, rich story of extreme high achievement. Columbia MBA, performing at the highest levels of the business world, which led to some of the, may I speak just some of our experience without revealing too much? Okay, you're pretty open about this, so okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, and he's going to speak later this afternoon, and then experiencing profound spiritual crisis after seeing how false and fake that the heights of that world is. And And Robert was really, really at some extraordinary levels of the global infrastructure and business world, and have massive respect for the character that you have to leave that and do the work that you've done and be an epic spiritual teacher and a personal mentor to me, which I'm profoundly grateful for our time together and for you being here and the work that you've done. Amazing author, and the speed at which you create baffles me, but it speaks to the soul that you are and the creativity that you possess and the channel that you are. So please let us into your world a bit, Robert, and tell us what you're here to create and what's lighting you up right now.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Robert Althuis,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Let me get something really clear though. You know, for all of us, the truth serum is dropped. We don't drop the truth serum ourselves. So I awoke from that dream, from that old chapter of my life, because the universe decided it was time. Not because I was such a great guy and I suddenly saw the light. I fought it tooth and nail. I didn't want to change. I didn't want to see it. My entire picture of life fractured. And I needed that, and I'll talk a little bit later about it, because I have a lot of alpha energy in me. And probably the most destructive organisms on planet Earth are an Aries Pitta masculine with a deep father wound. And, you know, we are very destructive when we have this much alpha energy and we're directing it in the wrong way. And so this was sort of the story of my life. The problem is that the world applauds you for this. This is sort of what we idolize in the world. So anyway, I built big things around the world, and I got out of that in 2015 when I sold most of my business, and then my life started to unravel, and that's when I got into this path, and I do right now. I have a book to share. Actually, it's a free. I released it on Thursday. It's a free copy for everybody here if you want to download it. But I started coaching. I started writing. I started working with other men, working in mostly men in places of power and influence, and guiding them through the passage of awakening, basically. And what I noticed is that I'm a pretty good coach. I'm pretty intuitive. I'm claircognizant. I have a lot of these abilities that came online, but I actually still love being a player. I love business, and I love real estate development. For me, beauty is the language of God, and whatever beauty we can bring into the world, we are being a conduit for the Most High. And this is what originally drew me into real estate, because I loved having a piece of dirt, and you guys were talking about it. And, when the land is yours, you become a steward, and you have a vision, and you become, and I'm going to talk about this later, this fatherly love comes online. You start loving the land, and you want to create something really, really, truly beautiful. The problem is, in my career, it became all about the money. It wasn't about creating beauty anymore. And so I lost my interest in real estate, and I got out of it, because to me, it was like moving decimals around on spreadsheets. I mean, maybe some of your experience, and I know many of you have shared experiences. So in a year and a half ago, I bought a domain, and I had no fucking clue why I was buying it, but I knew I needed to have it. And it was regenerative.com. No idea what I was going to do with it. And so in the last year, I sold sort of a last business from my last career, and I went on a big 12,000-mile tour around the U.S. I called it a book tour, but it was really a spiritual pilgrimage. I had a trailer and a Harley in the back and my pickup truck, and I just wanted to see what's next. And what was next for me is I want to build real estate again, but I want to build something really beautiful. And that brought me to regenerative real estate, which you just touched on, because I have a lot of these abilities from my prior career, which are sort of dormant when I'm coaching. And I want to bring that in. And you were talking as a lawyer, we all have these areas of genius, and that can be perfectly 3D genius that we can bring into and create something of beauty. And so I am now moving into this regenerative real estate space. My big dream, because I like big stuff, because I'm a big, tall guy, and you gotta hold big visions. I've been traveling around the world for the last 10 years, going to every retreat under the sun and visited beautiful places. And I'm really a big believer in holistic wellness. Holistic wellness meaning that we have a physical, emotional, mental, and a spiritual level. And when you can create something very beautiful on a very large scale, regenerative in nature, and you can touch people on all 4 levels, I can give them a spiritual experience, because I've been teaching spirituality and I've written books about it, and knowledge is beautiful and we can learn all these things, but at the end of the day, you have to feel it. Something has to touch you. If it doesn't touch you on a very, very deep level, there's no access point to embodiment. And when there's no embodiment, there's really nothing. There's just information. And information itself is useless. And I was going to tell this story later, but I'll say it now. I had this one client. He came back from Himalaya. He had spent like 10 weeks there meditating 8 hours a day. And we went to the grocery store. And we're checking out with the cashier. And he was an absolute dick to her. And I said, I don't think it worked. And he says, what do you mean? He says, this is a beautiful person here that got up this morning to come to work. And if you don't have it in you to just be kind to this person, right, then you haven't learned a fucking thing on this Himalaya mountain. You can go back and meditate all day long. But if you cannot bring kindness into this world and beauty, and everything you touch, you leave in a little bit better way, a little bit more beautiful, then you haven't gotten it yet. So anyway, through regenerative real estate, this is really what I want to bring into the world on a large scale. And I want to create a space where people can come that maybe aren't that sophisticated yet in spirituality, but if I can give them an experience, if I can drop the truth serum in that way, I believe they're going to go home back to their fishbowl and they're going to ask the existential questions. Who am I? What am I? Why did I feel different over there versus here? And this is exactly what you've created here, Jackson, because people come here and maybe they don't understand everything that's being talked about, because there's a lot of high-level discussions and you don't need to remember all this stuff.
Thanks, Sam.
But if it touched you, right, you are going to go home and you're going to wonder, like, what was that? Why did I feel different? And you're going to seek it. And this is the most beautiful thing, the most beautiful little seed, the little thing that we can plant in anybody that we encounter, because that seed at some point will blossom. It will come to life.
Amazing. Round of applause, Mr. Robert Althuis. Feeling called to Alex down there. You read my mind, Robert. Round of applause, Mr. Alex Lovely down here. Epic brother, great musician behind the scenes and in ceremony, and a fantastically talented and successful real estate investor. And also has created a really incredible model that I find super interesting and inspired and enlightened, full of light, because it creates wealth and abundance in a fractaled way. And it's a way of fundraising and investing in real estate that allows for all of the participants to create substantial wealth for themselves and in harmony with the group. And I find that super interesting and super next level and 5D and golden age and all the cool things. So please tell us a little more about your heart and soul and what you're creating, man.
Wow, what a hype, man. I couldn't even talk about my own fund or creation better than Jackson can, so you're hired. I think the first thing I want to just say is, along with what Dr. Samuel Lee said last night, was that there's a soul agreement that we all made to be here. Like in this time, to be here, to hear the speakers, to share these experiences. And every single one of us has a code or a key, whether it's spiritual, relational, financial, whatever that is, there's a code. You guys are the missing piece of the puzzle to what is wanting to be created, right? And so a big part of my journey, I actually, I've been studying and teaching A Course in Miracles for over 7 years now. And so that is, the Holy Spirit guides me in just about everything that I create. And one of my most powerful mushroom journeys that I was on was 7 nights that I spent with a Wolfpack, literal Wolfpack. And I learned about community. I learned about leadership. I learned about truly what it means to be in a pack, and what I was supposed to do. I can lead for sure, But also a big part of my journey is to find the other leaders who I can get behind. And the way that I find the leaders that I get behind is I just look at how they show up for their community, number one. And two, there are always signs that God puts in front of us to say you're in the right place. So Jesse, actually, we spent time in Peru together many years ago. And I show up here, you know, and Jackson and I are talking about some big creation. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, what are you doing here? So it's, first of all, it shows that the medicine carries, the plant medicines actually carries all the knowledge in the world for us, right? It's the remembrance for us. So when we participate in them, there's a, like, regardless of what your experience was, it left a mark for you, right? And I heard the other day actually that it's a great saying that everything that we do leaves a signature of our consciousness in it. So that means you all being here, this place, AUREA, your signature, your consciousness is already here. And now, what do we do with that, right? It's, we all have gifts, yes? Who has a gift that they feel like they can contribute to the world, to AUREA, to the new world? Yeah. So everybody. And part of what I learned with the pack is like, can we, one, the leadership can empower people, right? And two, can people find a place that they can see their gifts being magnified in? And if you can see that, then to be able to express your gift on a larger stage, on a bigger vision, right, is answering that call. Your gift is your calling. Your gift is your message. So will we answer the call, or will this just be like an inspiring event that we went to and we go back and don't really take any action? We don't support the people that we feel like we want to support, right? Because we feel like we're not capable or we're scarce at the time to give. But there is something to give. So my invitation is for everybody to, find out what that is and inquire more with Jackson and the people that you feel resonating with. Like, how can you be a contribution to it? Everything in the world serves a purpose. The trees, the sun, the grass, everything. And we too need to find our place of service. That's where we would really know what our calling is and what our purpose is. And so I've created this fund off of this idea. What I shared right here is it's just my theory and my worldview. And so I've built a fund off of that. And it's complex if you don't know real estate and how to buy large apartment buildings and hotels and all that. So I'm not going to go into all that. Although Jackson and I have been talking about a mastermind in the coming days. I don't know if you want to share about it, but I would inquire about how to be there too and talk to Jackson about what your gifts are and how you could contribute to a temple that Jackson has envisioned. And that temple is also incomplete unless every single one of you has an input. And that will be the beginning, and if we can just imagine that future where I contributed to co-create that thing. I didn't sit on the sideline, right? It's people sitting on the sideline that has our world be in the state that it's in today. And so if we choose not to sit on the sideline and we step into our power and we're being called to speak on stage, then craft your message more. Hone in what is wanting to be shared from your heart. And then create. Because every one of us has that like little piece that we are really interested in, that we're really fired up with, and that we have the gift in. Like mine just happens to be raising capital and funding really cool things and making big projects happen. And I'm like, people say that I'm like jet fuel to their business when I like consult, and I'm just like, yeah, there's no limitations. What if whatever you wanted to create, there was no financial limitations? Like, what would you even be thinking about? What would you be creating, right? Like every one of our thoughts today, there's limitations to it. And the first step is to break past the financial limitations we have so that we can truly actually discover what it is that we want to create. Thank you. So yeah, we have a really exciting model. I don't know if it's ever been done before, which is why we're all here, of a fund model. And there are some of you guys in here that are part of the model that I'm creating for a large institutional real estate deal. But the same model can be used, and I want to teach it to Jackson. I want to teach it to everybody, how to fund anything that you want to create through building a community like the Wolfpack. Yeah, so I don't know. That's all I got right now.
Love it. Well, Alex is going to be here. Tune in with him for more questions about that. And there's more to come in a coherent way around what we're all doing together. And there's one amazing thing about wolf packs I learned recently, and it speaks to that alpha male aspect as well, which I've expressed in toxic ways in the past. And I'm working to be a servant leader now and express that in a really benevolent way. And in wolf packs, alpha males actually lead from the back. When they're going through the snow, they are the last in line. They're not the first in line. They're ensuring everyone sticks together and no one gets left behind. And that's a really beautiful insight, man. So I love that. Oh!
Hey, Jackson, can I share a 30-second synchronicity that just happened?
Yeah.
So when I first drove into my land in Joshua Tree, there was a huge stone with one wolf on it, and it said the Lone Wolf Ranch. And one of my greatest fears in my heart is loneliness, not having a community. And I was like, ooh, that's like the biggest sign. And, you know, that's what it's called. And so I said, you know what? The moment when it all came to be that I purchased that land, I went out and I got some paint and I got some Sharpies and I erased it and I named it the Wolfpack Ranch. And that is the name of my land in Joshua Tree. So yes, and we do need some of your help.
Love that. Yes. And the divine plan is real and the pronoia is real. Anyone know pronoia means? On this recently, I love it. It's the belief that there's a massive benevolent conspiracy on our behalves happening around us all the time. Right? How epic is that? Yes? Divine plan is real. And now, Zoe Wind. Please, if you would, utilize your expansive mind and articulate nature to feel into this beautiful space and take us where you want to take us and what you see, because you are so meta that it hurts a little bit.
About it.
It's a lot to keep up with. You're very fast. You are like the wind. And would love to hear how you wish to inspire us and what you are finding most inspiring and what's lighting you up and again what you're here to create.
Oh my God, I'm so intimidated.
For no reason at all. You're the intimidator. We got astrological Godzilla over here, so just lay it on us, Zoe.
Well, that's so funny because I was just sitting here and like all these waves of just like, oh my God, everybody's so in their heart and they're so profound. And what am I going to say? Like, oh my God, and I love these people. And I just want to like crawl in the back and like build stages for other people. Like doing events, which is something I've really been blasting off into in the last few years, has been just, it's so gratifying to build stages and like see your babies up there, your loves up there, and then watch them like share their magic and watch everyone clap for them. And I might show up like Godzilla. I hope I don't.
In a good way. That
But
may have been an awkward analogy, but it's
I'm
amazing.
I'm actually a little
And
kitty.
far more than that, just astrology. There's so many facets. Keep going.
So multifaceted. So I feel like I just want to share a little bit about my story because this feels like a really beautiful, vulnerable share that was just opened and everyone kind of shared something about their hearts and I have had a crazy life. It's gonna make a great movie one day. I don't know who signed me up for this. But it's been wild. And after, crazy childhood and, I had a few years of respite there in my early 20s, homesteading, and then, fought for my life for 5 years through health crisis and then thought I was done and then almost died and then came back and then I lost my father in the 2020 hospital crisis situation. And he was my greatest hero. He was the only rock I ever had. He was like alpha, pitta, giant man, big man, misunderstood a lot, but he was always there when you needed him. He was always strong for you when you needed strength, and he could pull you back from the edge of any crisis and make you believe in yourself again. And there was parts of my power that I was terrified to express in this life because of childhood experiences that I had that I interpreted as it's not safe to do that. And so it was easier to build stages for other people than to be on them for a long time. And so it's like, but it's just so beautiful to realize that we're all so perfect. We're all so perfect. We're all so needed. We're all so divinely placed here with a few people have mentioned. I love this quote that when you don't live in your true nature, there's a hole in the universe where you were supposed to be. You know, Dane Rudhyar, incredible astrologer. And after I lost my dad, I went out into the desert in Sedona, and I just spent months on the land with plant medicine, Wachuma, Padrecito, and my father's name was Peter, San Pedro. And it changed me, and I came out of that like zero fucks given, like I'm not scared. And so your courage really spoke to me of that, like I'm not scared, I'm gonna do it even though I'm terrified, I'm gonna do it anyways. And it's just such a blessing to be in communities and gatherings like this where everyone's saying yes to that. And it's like you think you're gonna get up there on stage and be all alone, and then you're like, oh my God, there's and I'm not alone. And then and we just shine it all into this bright light. So I just want to honor, because I know everyone's come through a dark night of the soul, or you wouldn't be here. You know, we wouldn't have that courage. And if you came in, you know, just having it, then you earned it somewhere along the line, you know, and that I've literally been waiting for this time my entire life. I've been waiting for this time. And people often, they're like, oh my God, the world's falling apart. What are we going to do? And I'm like, yes, it's finally crumbling. Like, we can build, we can do this. There's space.
Celebrate the crumbling, the phoenix moment we're going through, the government stuff being exposed, the horrible things being exposed behind the scenes, us losing faith in the education system, losing faith in the medical system, seeing how corrupt it all is, and just letting that baby burn it down, and let the new world come forward. Yes, and yes, and yes. Feel complete? No, I didn't think so. Keep going.
I wanted to ask you,
Yeah. So did you feel complete? What you want to share?
do you want me to frame any more, or you've got
I got you.
this?
Okay, cool.
good.
So we're gonna go to some Q&A now, and super excited to hear from those that are building their places, like Kanyini and Paige in Ecuador with the Warrior Sanctuary and the Sanctuary over there. Big round of applause, epic musicians. I don't know how many of you are here for the late night sound healing that y'all led with Estonia, and just all the music sets they've been leading. It's been so awesome, so great. Thank you guys so much. Yes, and yes, and yes. So I don't know if you would like to speak first. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but do you have a question? Yeah, please.
I'm kidding. For those that I think some know me, King Kanyini. This is my lovely, beloved wife, Zahara Paige. We have a retreat space in Ecuador that literally got thrown into our lap. She found it and then told me, he's like, you have to come to Ecuador. I was like, I have a job. She's like, quit it.
It's also 12-sided.
Yes,
magical.
it is. It's a 5-story dodecahedron tree house maloka in the middle of the cloud forest overlooking the jungle. And it's a bunch of magic. So if you have questions.
With a pure water source, it is a sacred site, and it is really tremendous. And like hearing all of you speak, and I can't wait to connect with you because Ecuador is so near and dear to our hearts. But yeah, we're really passionate about everything that everyone's doing. And I think what you said, Zoe, I relate to a lot of like building stages for other people to stand on, and then also being on stage and having all of us reciprocate that is so beautiful. And that we're in a space where everyone is welcome and heard and seen, because a lot of people that come say, I'm not heard and I'm not seen. And this is a place where I hope everyone feels seen and heard, and everyone's so intentionally listening. Like I'm an observer, and everyone is so tuned in. So thank you for that. And I wanted to ask, did you have
I really was going to hand you the microphone.
okay, so I have the mic, sorry. And Amanda, I didn't know I liked the mic. Thank you for that. Yeah.
The
So my,
Warrior Sanctuary.
yeah, the Warrior Sanctuary. Yes.
The Warrior Sanctuary on Instagram.
Yes. So we are in our 4th year in Ecuador, and this our first retreat space or stewarding land as well. And my question to anyone who wants to respond is, I think we're in that moment in time where I see you, Amanda, and I don't want to get to that point because I feel that, right? Like I feel the tethers, and like as a woman, the capacity is so big, so grand. I can hold so much. We can hold so much, and like we've been really blessed with community. But I think these like thinking about like new paradigm and where do we ask for support? Where do we turn to? Like, what are the things that we can like keep in mind as we're continuing to build and grow and nurture? Like, what's the recommendations for us to be able to continue to be in capacity and to be in flow, not like at capacity, right? Like, how do we expand and be in our capacity? I think exploring that.
This is not going to answer your question, but the purpose of life is to bump into our edges and to love them. And what we call crisis, calamity, and catastrophe are gifts wrapped in sandpaper. And the purpose is to unwrap the sandpaper. And so I think it's beautiful. I mean, you bumped into your edge, and there was a realization that came from that. And you couldn't have had that realization unless you bumped into the edge, unless you got that message, my body is hurting, I'm coming apart, something is falling apart in my life. And so never shy away. I mean, we're here to fuck up. We're here to fall and stumble and like be colossal fuck ups. The more you can fuck up, the further you get. I promise you. We are not here in this 3D to be perfect. We're here to be fucking flawed. And it's beautiful to be flawed. And so, fuck up. Run into that edge, fall apart. And then like, fuck, I gotta learn something. There's a lesson here. There's something of beauty in it, right? So that didn't answer your question, but fuck up.
I love to fuck it up and then sing a song about it. I had so many businesses. I was in mortgage, I was in sales, I was in this, I started that, I went to New York, I started a fucking app. Like I started so many things. And before this, for some reason, I think because I found, my soul's mission, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, failure's just a lesson. Who cares? Try again, learn something else. Like I really had that innocence up until about this point. And so 2 things for you is one, where I'm running against right now is I started taking it too fucking seriously. I started being like, da-da-da-da, and my reputation, and my competitors, and is the branding right, and is the, you know what I mean? I really, and I look back and I go, I was that young girl where the most people we ever had in ceremony was the first retreat when I was like, hey, everybody, I'm Amanda at Mushrooms, and I love you. Here's my website. I don't know how you found it, and people go, I felt your heart. And ayahuasca, she had showed me when I was first writing an email, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she said, this is the web, Amanda. This is the fucking web. Use your energy in your literal fingers as you're typing this email and reach out to the hearts. And I had that innocence at that point to remember and listen to the Holy Spirit instead of the next fucking Instagram reel that was like, do you want to 10x your, funnel? And I'm like, yes, maybe you have the answer. Not Holy Spirit guy, right? So whatever you create from, like whatever drew you to be able to, maybe I can 10x it. Whatever drew you to that, I'm trying to get back to that too. Like what was the thing that drew me there was listening, believing, the faith, right? Like I can do this, it'll be magic. And it was just one foot in front of the next. And like we had one retreat, it sold out. So we're like, well, I guess we'll do 2. And then people came to that, we're like, I guess we'll do 3. Like I have never to this day had a business plan. Because the business plan was from God, and it was just like, go here, now go to Baja, now go to Tepoztlan, now go to Sayulita, now go here, now go back to Ecuador. It was, and when I lost that, which is where I am now, and I started freaking out with growth, is when things honestly have put me in this place of a little bit of destruction. Yeah. So whatever, find that peace. And the one last thing I want to say, because this is to everyone, I've been doing it recently, don't lie to yourself. I have been hyper independent and not willing to give up equity and get investors and not willing to let anyone in because of this shadow that I have seen over and over again in me, which is if I don't control everything, I am not worthy. If I don't hold it, it won't be done right. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of just showing up as a medicine woman and nothing else and letting people take care of the rest. I'm not worthy. I can't just sing with my drum in ceremony. I have to go with the chef to the, and get the dietary restrictions, and I have to make coffee for people in the morning, and I have to do everything. So be aware consistently of those shadows and tell yourself the truth in those. Yeah. And I love you, and I can't wait to connect.
Do you have like a specific challenge, or you're just asking for any advice?
The thought of taking on more. I have this vision. We all have this vision, right? That's so big and we're in it. And so the next thing is this. It's right there. I've seen it. It's dropped in, right? No business plan, but all the plans, right? It's the 5D plan. And so I think there's like that nervousness of like, yes, hitting an edge. And the vision, what is the vision? The vision is stewarding more, right? It's building out this base 12 really beautiful cosmic incubation program that's right across the way, right? It's kind of like stewarding this bigger piece that's a vibrational piece that's connected at like the equanimity of what is masculine and feminine balances. And so like right now I feel, wow, we're doing this, we're doing it pretty well. And also Spirit's like, go there, do this, do more. And I think I was feeling that it's more, that part, the challenge of,
Yeah.
and I show up, how do I, like, is it too, yeah, and it's the how, and I know that it's not about the how, it's the what, just keep visioning the what, but like the how is very 3D, and knowing the what and the why is very important, I'm clear on that. I think the how part is like moving through the challenge of that piece.
So I would say the first thing is like, just like be aware of where you get the advice and things from. The second you already touched on, which is like, whose vision is it? If it's not if it's God's vision, if it's 12D vision, right? Like, then it's already done. So then, like, there is a framework of getting to, like, embodiment. We all talk about embodiment. If you still have questions and you're unclear, that means go learn more. Go teach more, right? Like, we're always working and teaching and learning about forgiveness, but there will come a point that you've done so much so that it's embodied that you are forgiveness. And you don't need to learn anymore. You don't have any more questions. So, like, all the answers you already have, and you're just coming up against resistance because you think God's vision is like you're responsible for it. And you're taking on a responsibility that's not yours. And so as you just let that go and let it flow, you know exactly what you're going to need to do next, and just trust and lean fully into it. It's the resistance to those things that actually creates the challenges for us.
Thank you. Yeah. I had one question. Yeah. Should be short. So one of the things that we do is we work with the Sachila tribe. We work with the indigenous people of the land, because there were people that came before us, and building these spaces and building these temple spaces. It's important that that ancient wisdom is carried forward. So how are you, especially from working with the tribes for 3 years and then creating your own space and going into Mexico, how do you, and anyone, you too as well, because obviously there's land and Jackson, how do you connect with the land and connect with the indigenous people in your own way, whether it's channeling or people coming across your way or making an intentional reach out to continue to carry on that wisdom?
I'd love to answer that as a white girl from Orange County, California, with hardly any roots and 2 parents that were adopted and don't really know their background. And my mom only found out 5 years ago that her mother was from Africa. And so as someone who has been seeking roots for many, many years, and one of the reasons I stayed down there for so long was the feeling of like, this is what it means to be connected to something that has a lineage and has space. Just tell the truth of who you are. Every single one of my teachers, every single one of my elders, consistently, and when I go to their land to pray, and when I come back and I'm not sure if I can teach this, I'm not sure if I can sing your songs, I'm not sure. They look at me and they said, Amanda, our elders are telling us now that this is the time on the earth of integration of all tribes and all songs and all music. And yes, there's respect, but she said, if you want to learn something, just ask me. If you want to learn the despacho, ask me, I will show you. If you want to sing my songs, because these are not my songs, these are humanity's songs, and they just forgot them. And with that, reciprocity. When I was sitting 2 years ago with my elder, I sat in front of him for 10 seconds with Wachuma and immediately came to me $20,000. Give him $20,000 tomorrow. And now they've built another temple space, and then, and came to me again 6 months later, 10 more grand, because money flows through me. And I was like, this is, give back and listen to those places. It's not in a spreadsheet somewhere. It's going to be in your heart in those prayers. What do I need to be in reciprocity with this land, to be in reciprocity with these people, and not out of a performative way? And this is the reason that almost no one, for some reason, in the 8-10 years I've been doing this, ever really has come against me as like, hey, dumb white girl, you can't be doing this. I don't really get that a lot. And I think the reason is that, like, I'm not trying to be anyone that I am not. I'm not trying to impersonate anyone. And I see that now is the time for all tribes to come together. So live in that reciprocity and listen to your heart about what that needs to be with those people.
Rainbow Warriors Unite, baby.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, let's have a round of applause. These amazing panelists. Does anyone have any other question? Josh, did you have something? Okay, cool. Let's do one more, maybe two if they're quick.
Guys, thank you so much for this amazing knowledge. And Jackson, man, amazing 3 days of work. Amazing. I got a question and I got a gift. So, Amanda, we were in the circle and I gave you a hug and we hugged and you said, oh man, I needed that. And so I want to give the gift back. I want to sponsor your marketing with my agency. So I want to run ads for everyone at your place. I want to make sure you get that damn money. And I want to work with you, and I love that. And whoever needs help, I would love to help out. Mike, we talked about this yesterday as well. I want to work with you on a lot of things that we're doing in Miami. And this is the question that I have. As a high achiever, we have routines, morning routines and things that we do on a daily basis. And a lot of us are missing some of that. And so I want to ask all you guys, what is your routine on a daily basis that you do that gets you to the highest state, that gets you to that consciousness, to get you to download that information so that you can give it to the world? What are those things? I have mine, and they're working for me very well. And that's how Jackson and I met 4 or 5 years ago. So what are those gifts? What do you guys do in your routine so that everyone here can learn?
Pass it down. Literally, the first thing I say in the morning when I wake up is, if today I'm not contributing to the healing of the world, I forgot what I'm doing here. Oof. And I just say that every morning when I wake up. It's like a natural thing that comes to me, and then that's it. And then whatever the rest of the day is, it's fine.
Hell yeah. Something I learned from Elizabeth Gilbert that I say every morning upon waking is, love, what would you have me do today? Or God, what would you have me do today? And listen before I jump in. And then another favorite from Neil Donald Walsh is, he said, I meditate every day, except for the days that I do not. And that is wisdom, right? You have your tools, you have your breath, you have your meditation, you have your journaling, right? And they come in and out. And there's like months where all I'm doing is journaling. And then there's months where like the writing isn't weaving into my life. So to be flexible with what's present, knowing and trusting that you have all the tools available, and then feeling into your heart, like, what tool do I need today? Instead of what is the perfect routine. Yeah.
I have a lot of discipline generally, but I'll tell you, the discipline I taught myself is the first thing I do in the morning. I live in Miami. I go outside in my yard with a cup of coffee. I don't give a shit if caffeine is good or not. And I go look at my bougainvilleas, and I go look at my hibiscus. And hibiscus is like a flower that opens up. And then I have a little place next to my plunge and my sauna. Actually, Jackson was there. You know, we hung out in my back, my little oasis. And I sit there and I just have the sun hit my face. because my biggest problem is that my mind goes so fucking fast, and I'm so plugged in that I have to slow it down. I just have to slow it down. And that's what I spent the first 30, 45 minutes, getting some sun and just slowing it down. And, you know, my crown chakra is pretty wide open. And when I do that the right way, I know everything I need to know that day. I walk away from it and I know what I need to do. So for me, the discipline is really just presence, just actually coming into my body. Sometimes I do a little bit of yoga exercise and I breathe into my body, so I'm grounding myself. And if you're a high achiever and you sort of have that look, like everything, like you're probably like me, right? Two gears, it's either in park or it's in full throttle. There's nothing in between. And, right, I mean, the park in the morning, I think, is so important. For guys like you and me, presence, just come into your body, land, and you will be told everything you need to know for that day.
Absolutely. I'm going to piggyback on the presence. For me, and it's been interesting. I'm the discipline cat as well, and it's been through like super deep arts of like, oh, this is the time window at the third. Like I'm going to deploy this whole thing, and I'll do that and get the juice from it. And been doing it for like 5 years. I've gotten into more of how do I want to show up for the day. I'll present about an hour before the sun comes up. I rise. And before the phones, before the whole story, and I settle in. And sometimes it's esoteric, sometimes there's hape, something, or sometimes I just sit there and watch a blade of, I just look through, but I'm presencing in that moment, and it's all running by, and faces come to mind, and I start that game of like, what do I choose? How do I choose? Who's going to teach me today? And as present as I can get, and that's also with y'all, like coming into it, you probably had as much nervousness as you do now with the next wave, and just watching these cycles and the play of like, all right, how anchored in can I be? Maybe there's coffee, maybe there's Shilajit, maybe like I'll just play with what feels good that day. And sometimes I sleep in a little late, like there's no, and just being what the body needs and what I need in that moment. And that presence, how long it's almost a game. How long can I carry it before I get pissed off? Or before, like how long can I hold this thing? And I, goofy enough, I have two other reminders, one at midday, an hour before solar noon, and an hour before sunset that ping me. And sometimes I ignore them, but I've left those on, of just like bringing me back and remembering my game of like, oh, who's speaking? What am I learning right now? How can I be present? What's the unfolding?
I'm going to continue that train of presence. It's definitely about listening to what is needed. And what generally leads to the best outcome for me is really just listening and finding the alignment of what is most needed, like what's in the most service for that day. And sometimes I need to just do nothing. And sometimes I'm going to I'm not afraid to go just watch some Netflix sometimes and just like chill. But I've also been, people tell me I'm disciplined, and I'm like, I don't think I'm disciplined, but I'm also been that person who's been like, I'm going to have an hour and a half morning routine. I'm going to do, toning, and then I'm going to do Kundalini yoga, and then I'm going to go outside and stare at the sun for 10 minutes, and it has to be in this order. And like I've done that quite a bit. And I don't really do that anymore. I really just listen to what I most need, and things turn into habits from that. So it's still like the intention you're coming from determines the culture of your own behavior that you create in yourself. And that's the most important thing. I also really think it's important to like just in being present with reality, it's like there's neurofeedback, but then there's reality feedback. There's the feedback of like, oh, I made a mistake, or oh, I wasn't attuned right then, and then what happened? Why did that happen after that? Like, was I out of alignment, or was I not kind for a moment there? Like, what was it that turned the energy in a certain direction? And I had chronic pain for a long time from a bike crash and thoracic outlet syndrome and shoulder impingement and all this stuff. And I don't have it day to day anymore, but I used to. And whenever my cortisol would go up, my shoulder would tighten up and then I would be in severe pain for like many hours of the day. And this was as recently as like a year ago. And it really taught me a lot. Pain taught me so much because I learned how to stay calm and stay with it and be really present. And that was the path through. It wasn't going to go away by avoiding it. It was going to go away because it's not real, but it was real because I was creating it. And if you find your alignment and you find your calm, then you're paying attention, and then you're there. It's not about any trick. It's just be here.
Thank you. I love that your shoulders healed. I watched him do that transformation. I'm probably going to echo a lot of what others have said. Like a lot of my deepest work is done in contemplation while washing dishes or folding laundry and deep presence. And then I also know the place and work with many people who are like, I don't know how you do that. Like, how do you do, like, there's like we can be so wired and, or in trauma or fight or flight that feels completely inaccessible. And so the practices, you know, that fit each individual are super unique, right? And finding that formula. And I do breath work, Tai Chi, yoga, Qigong, all of these things, moving the energy meridians, but like deep medicine ceremonies, vision quests on the land, and like subconscious reprogramming to get the knots out, to like have these like breakthrough moments that then allow that practice to sink in and be more effective, have been a really key part. And then for me, the ultimate teacher is always nature. I say at least 20 minutes of bare feet on the ground out in nature, if not longer, because she is encoded with divine harmony. She's encoded with the base 12. She's encoded with all of the codes for life and diversity and fertility and beauty. And we are mostly water. And when we sit with her, she literally reprograms and structures the water in our cells, in our being. And sometimes it's about not doing as much and allowing ourselves to receive. And that was what I was gonna piggy onto yours, was you don't have to hold it all. That's always what, you know, thank you, source. And then like magical beings show up, magical things happen. We stay the course and just do the next thing. And just do the next right thing, adding as much value as I can to every moment, as much beauty as I can, showing up and just showing up in that way. And the laws of nature abide. So it's really amazing.
Amen.
Yeah, I think I'll just be echoing some version of what everyone said. You know, the practices over the years have changed. You know, this form of meditation or exercise or breathing or reading or chanting or whatever. You know, anymore it really boils down to, and I think it's something that everyone said in some way, to sit all the way down, shut all the way up, and get present to the gift of existence, myself. Just to get present to, yeah, slow it all down, the presence of my own awareness. And yeah, I guess I'm a big Kool-Aid drinker. You know, if you got a new version of the last thing, I want to try it. I want to see it. And you know, sampling. I've been a spiritual window shopper my whole life. Yeah, you've got, oh, that looks good. Let's try some of that. And like Jesse, you know, I want to milk the juice off, you know, whatever magic you're bringing. But it boils down to that, you know, finding myself in the silence.
Find myself in the silence. Yes. Ricky, please.
So just listening to everybody's shares and creators and all the passion that's around here right now, that what comes up for me is like, for you, all the love that you're giving and feeling like a drain, and really in return, it's like, this feels a lot like that a lot of time for me. And, you know, like Polly and other people who's got projects happening, is just like all the love that you've been given is really meant for you, you know, and me. And that's kind of the heart side of it. And don't get drained. Don't let the hearts, keep it for yourself. So thank you.
So for me, the way I start each day is the way I end each day, and it's with a gratitude exercise. It's 3 things that I'm grateful for. And for almost the last 8 years, the first thing that I'm grateful for almost every time is opening my eyes. Set the bar low, right? Because everything after that in the day is a win. I've already won, right? I woke up. Do you know what the numerical probability of that alone is? Waking up, you won. Everything else is a win. So it's a gratitude exercise. Vitamin G. All of the longevity guys and gals and biohackers are talking about vitamin B and B12 and C and DNA. Vitamin G, gratitude. That's the winner, right? That's the winner. Start the day with it, end the day with it. And then it's meditation or breath work. And the most important thing is what I'm not doing. What I'm not doing is engaging in any electronics. So no phones, no TVs, no radios, no anything for the first hour. I'm programming my day. I'm programming my week, my month, my year, and my life, right? It's a proactive approach to life, not a reactive, because life comes fast. As soon as you look at the phone, everything here, and more importantly, everything here, and the way that those are connected instantly changes, physiologically, energetically, spiritually. And that kind of an effect on you financially and everything else in every day. So it's those things. And the one other thing that I've been doing for a long time now that I love, and if you want to hear more about it, I could tell you a great story behind an NHL team. I do something called Japanese water therapy. So after I do the things that I just told you, I go in and I have a glass of water. 1 ounce of water for every 10 pounds of body weight. So if you're 150 pounds, 15 ounces of water. And room temperature. And take it, and if you're familiar with Dr. Masaru Emoto, we know that energy carries, water carries energy, right? And so thoughts and activity and everything is captured in there. So I set an intention. I don't just drink the water, I set the intention in the water. What do I want my being to physiologically consist of today? I drink that, I set the intention, and nothing else for 45 minutes after that, because we are severely dehydrated in the United States, severely. So nothing else, now you're hydrating on a molecular level. And the final 2 things, I then say a protection prayer to Source, the universe, God, whatever it might be. I know the way I show up in life, that there are going to be people taking shots at me or taking shots at my clients or my partners or my investors. That's just the way we live. I live and my partners live. And so I do a protection prayer to say, let me have the strength to do what I need to do to protect myself and to protect the people that I love and I care about and I'm working with. And then the final thing, because I do travel a lot, so I don't always know where there will be a mirror on the way out the door. If I can find a mirror, I'll make sure I pop in and say, I love you. I love you, man. I love you.
Love you, Mike.
And so I encourage all of you guys to do that. I love you.
All right. Love you all so much. That was so great. Let's hear it a little bit louder. Oh, my God. Such a joy, such an honor, such a thrill to be here. Kanye, let's bring up a music here. Invite you up onto your feet. Let your body move and integrate that in. We're going to take a little break. Then we got Mr. Robert Althuis on stage. If you want to receive codes on your spiritual life, on your business life, how to integrate them, how to expand them to a major, major level, this giant brother right here is going to drop some magic on you. So take care of your biology, take care of your bodies. Come on back in about 10 minutes. We're going to keep this party rolling.
It's not the skill, it's like when
Yo creo que Alex, el Zoom ya lo puedes colocar.